professional growth through her work via NGOs, academia, and other women centric platforms. Networking for Results is her signature program among the many programs that she conducts, and today she will talk to us about how to network to succeed in anything and everything you do. Please help me welcome Networking Nirja, as she is popularly known.
Able to hear me? All right, so networking. How many of you say it is a OHO? Vinti, thank you. A few more hands have gone up. Okay. So am I to assume the rest of you say it is a AHA? Fantastic. So I don't know what I'm doing here on the stage, but anyways, because I've been given some time, let me try to make you rethink about networking. So where do you network? At events like this, where it is explicitly called out, networking break that we had just now, right? At, at the many meetups that you may go to attend, or if your organizations have sponsored you for a leadership development program and you get to meet some other people over there. How about networking on a WhatsApp group? Anyone? This chair, this table is a bit naughty. Not the WhatsApp group of family and friends, but we might become part of a WhatsApp group. Say, for example, a conference like this, and the organizers decide to put all the participants in a group till the event happens, so that the communication to the participants becomes easy. Do you think there is an opportunity to network over a WhatsApp group? So let me give you a story. So I, after the 25 years, as Kavita said, quit from the corporate career in 2017. And then I started joining a lot of WhatsApp groups. One of them was a group for women entrepreneurs. And Saraswati Rammurthy, she is a co-founder of an edtech organization called as Learning Matters. On that group, she mentioned that they were going to organize an event for Women's Day. And at the venue, there would be opportunities for women entrepreneurs to put up stalls. So she was just asking them who would be interested. Now, I was extremely new to this space. You know, when you are in a corporate setup, you don't understand events and venues and stalls and all of that. So I messaged her and I said, I want to know a bit more about this. And she came over to meet me at the office. I was running an NGO then. I was the head of NGO. And we spoke about everything other than the event and the stalls. She went back, and after a couple of days, she called me and she said, Nirja, would you come as a speaker to our event? And I thought, why me? Because I had never done any public speaking till then. Yes, I had addressed town halls when I was in my corporate life, but that's about it. And I was wondering why. But you know, I have learned not to say no. So while there was a panel who said, say no, but I'm also saying we shouldn't say no when opportunities come by. So I said, okay. And I went ahead and I gave this talk. Now let's figure out why networking. And there is another term for networking or networks. It is called as social capital. All of us understand financial capital. We all understand how important it is. We make money, we keep it safe. We want to nurture it, we want to grow it. Similarly, social capital, which is nothing but the relationships that you have, it is equally important for us to earn the social capital, nurture it, and grow. Because it is said that those who are well networked are at least 3 times more influential than those who are not. And the 3 can become 10 and more depending on the how well. definitely they are more influential. So, how do you go and find the right people to network with? For example, we have close to about 70, 80 people in this room. We're part of a network as we are sitting here. Do you think now we suddenly have had our social capital increase just because we are all part of this network? So, if you had to go and meet someone at a networking event, how would you choose the person? Maybe you would say, I would like to meet someone who is a subject matter expert on XYZ because I'm doing a project, a research paper, and I need help in that space, right? Or you may say, I would like to meet and connect with someone who is in a position of accountability, responsibility, and hence can make things happen. Or you may say, I would like to meet and connect with someone who knows the who's who and can make further connections for me, isn't it? Now reverse it. If you want someone to come and meet with you and connect with you, don't you think they will also want something similar? So just by being one among 10, 100,000 people in a network doesn't mean you have social capital, right? You have to have something to offer. And I come to the definition of networking. What is the definition of networking? Networking means what is it that you can offer to rest of the people in the network? What is it that you can give? And now you're going to say, just now you said, networking is the way to reach to that job. Networking is the way to get that funding from the VC. And you are saying, no, networking is all about giving, then where do I get? So for the next 15 minutes, just bear with me and be with me with this definition of networking, which is about what can you give to the people that you meet, wish to connect, and remain connected to build the social capital. Now, what do I give? Is the question. It's bothering all of you. Now that I've given the definition. Now you don't have to give your financial capital to build your social capital. Be sure of that. How many of you found it difficult today to actually leave your house and come to this event? You all must have registered, and I don't know how difficult was it for you to register also, but after registering, I got a lot of messages yesterday, day before I was sharing with Kavita. Should I come? Why should I come? Is it worth coming? And will I get goodies and hampers? And how's the food? Okay, now how many of you found it difficult to leave the comfort zone of your house? Because we were used to these Zoom meetings. Of course, we attended a lot of conferences, and you had Zoom, and you had Google Meet, and you had Microsoft Teams, all running at the same time. And then your office meeting going on there and a PTM happening here, and you're not involved in all the 5. There was a 6th thing that you were doing. That comfortable chair that you sat in our house, we actually had to redo the upholstery of that chair because in those 2 years, Sneha knows what happened to that chair. How difficult was it to leave the comfort zone and come? And I think we already got that message in the previous talk, and the previous panel said that to achieve anything, forget network. You've got to leave the comfort zone. So my tip number 0 for today is leave your comfort zone. Whenever an opportunity arises for you to do anything, be it on WhatsApp, be it to attend an event like this, especially if the problem that you're facing is that you have to come to the event all alone. Right? You asked all your friends, hey, this is happening, let's go together. Right? And all of them saying, Friday evening, in that traffic, Chancery Pavilion, could it have been a better hotel than that? So you are the only person who has to now make it. And I tell you, that is the best way to make it. And I'll tell you this, for all the introductions that Kavita gave me, networking Nirja, so I do practice what I preach. Actually, I'm preaching what I practice. And my daughter, who is known to talk her way into things. Since July, the two of us have been visiting every conference that is happening in Bangalore because I think we just have a sigh of relief that it's no longer Zoom. Either I'm speaking at a conference and she comes along, or I'm attending a conference and she's there. So we go together, and then we find seats next to each other, unless there are parallel tracks running and both of us can't agree on which one to go to, which is always the case. And then we are together at lunch and together at coffee, and we go back home together. Now you're thinking, wow, what a wonderful mother-daughter duo. But let me tell you, we don't live together, by the way. She stays somewhere else and I stay somewhere else. But what am I trying to get at is, for all this that we have, for every conference that we've gone together, we've really not met too many people, right? And that is what happens when you go along with a friend, because you are in your corner, enjoying the food, enjoying the speakers, the learnings, etc. One, you may not want to go and make new friends. Two, there are many other people who are feeling as awkward as you to say, okay, how do I go and meet and whom to meet? And they see the 2, 3 of you together and say, no, that's not where I need to go. Let me find another awkward person and maybe this is where I need to have the conversation, right? So I'm not against environment friendliness, etc. If you want to carpool and come along with someone, please do. But the minute you reach the venue, you are a stranger to the people you came along with, right? Till the event is over, and then again you can carpool and go back. But leave that comfort zone and do find opportunities to meet strangers. That was my tip number 0. Now what do you do now that you've arrived at the event? You obviously have to meet some people. And you have to start a conversation. What do I speak about? How do I start? Big problems in life. So a side tip here, I would say, is wear a conversation starter. The number of times people have come to me and said, your sari is lovely. She look. And all of us will have a sari story to say this was donated by whom, and I picked it up and I pinched it, and this and that. And that's it, your conversation starts. Right? So I'm not asking you to go and shop for every event, but something that's like a side tip. Maybe that will help those of us who have the starting trouble. But my tip number 1 is to have an elevator pitch. Okay? A good 30, 40-second elevator pitch with which you can introduce yourselves. Elevator pitch, and this is not a class on elevator pitch, so I'm not going to tell you the do's and don'ts, but all I will leave you with is, it should not sound like your CV. I have 25 years of experience in the IT world, so what? I have 2 more introductions. Because the other person has 50 other people that she can, and I'm going to say she because it's largely she, sorry for the men sitting over there, that she has to interact and can interact with, so the person has to find you interesting enough. Sorry, but your 25, 10 years of IT may not necessarily cut it through. So your elevator pitch has to be such that it kind of hooks the other person, say, oh, really? And allows the person to stay on with you, to listen to you a bit more. So do prepare an elevator pitch. And sometimes people say that you do intentional networking, which is that these are the speakers who are coming, so I do definitely want to connect with that person. Then you may want to actually customize your elevator pitch, doing a bit of a research about that person. But otherwise, generally, always you need to have a good pitch. So you've done your introductions. Now what does the other person do? The other person will also introduce herself. Then what? And my tip number 2 here, what I also call is as do the tango with the conversations, also called as the 80-20 rule. What do you do for 80% of the time? Sip your mouth. Listen. Why? Because I told you networking is all about what you can give. Now, how do you know what you can give to the other person? How do you find that out? Unless and until you are in a listening mode. So the other person introduces herself or himself, and then you have the opportunity to ask questions so that you get to know a little bit more about that person. But what kind of questions do you ask? Ask open-ended questions. Like, so today is a Friday, now you may meet someone at dinner and then you say, thank God the weekend has arrived. And I don't know which is the latest movie doing the rounds, anyway, XYZ. We say, I'm planning to catch that movie tomorrow. Have you watched it? And the person will say, I don't watch movies. Full stop. You can't progress with that conversation, right? So it has to be a bit more open-ended to say, wow, I mean, the Bangalore weather is really becoming better after those rains, afternoons are a bit nippy, sunny evenings are getting nippy. I'm looking forward to the weekend. What are your plans for the weekend? And the person will open up to say, you know what, I usually play golf over the weekend or a football or I catch a movie, but this weekend is going to be a very stressful one because I have to put up this presentation which I have to do to the VC next week. I'm really seeking funds. And now you know you can offer some help. Maybe you've gone through this earlier and say, you know what, I used a very good template to do the presentation, makes your life very easy, let me send it across to you. Or you may be able to put this person across to another person who could possibly help this person with that presentation. So in those conversations, you will find ways to help the other person. Now, there may be possibilities. I mean, 20% of the times, you may not be able to really help them immediately, but it's okay. I mean, you've met another person, you will stay connected. Over a period of time, there might be some opportunities to kind of help out. So my tip number 2 was the 80-20 rule for having conversations. Couple of things that I would also like to say here is the easiest thing to give are introductions. Doesn't cost anything, and all of us know so many people, right? So, for example, I asked Kavita because next month I have to host an event and I want a particular panelist and I know she knows her. I asked her to introduce and she did it. I'm always introducing people, you know, to say Rashmi Shetty's, she's not here today, podcast. Because I know that there are so many stories to be, you know, told. Like Vijaya here, we were working at Capgemini, but still, I didn't know so many stories of her till we caught up over coffee last week, and I felt that her stories need to be known, and I've connected her with Rashmi. Introductions are the easiest form of, you know, giving. But beyond that, when you hear, when you listen, you will find opportunities. Now, you've done everything that I've asked you to do. You've registered for the event, you've decided to come all alone, you've come here, you've met a few people, you practiced your elevator pitch, and you introduced yourselves, and you asked open-ended questions, and you found opportunities to help. What do you do next? And this is the most difficult one, right? Social capital means it's not just building it, it is nurturing it, it is growing it over a period of time. And hence, the most important thing after all of this is the easy part. The most important thing after all of this is to remain connected, to stay connected, and to follow up with the people whom you have met. So I never thought I would get this opportunity of, you know, these 2 lines in my talk of networking, which I used to do before the pandemic, but I'm so glad that I'm able to say that again. Unless and until you have driven yourself to the venue and you have to go back on your own or the 2-wheeler, the 3 things that you need to do before you reach home. 1, you connect with the person on LinkedIn immediately. I hope all of you are on LinkedIn. If you're not, you must, because that is definitely a must-have professional networking platform to be on. 2, I think we're back to the era of business cards. Otherwise, anyways, you know how to exchange numbers, store the number, maybe a WhatsApp hi, hello. 3, send out an email saying, because you would have also collected the email ID, by saying that, hey, it was great to meet you today. Now, if you think that the offer that you made to the person in terms of the presentation or whatever, the connect, is very, very urgent, I think over the LinkedIn or the WhatsApp or the email, you can send that across. Otherwise, after a few days, you can take another opportunity of follow-up and say, hey, I told you that I will connect you with someone, and here is that connect. follow up, that is my tip number 3, and I have only 3 tips for networking, is the most important one. Now you're going to ask me how often, right? Do I calendarize? And I say, no, it's not possible. I mean, when you start with 5, you start with 10, maybe it's still possible. But for someone like me who's got some 26,000 connects on LinkedIn and I may not know so many of them personally and having a large network, that's not the way. But if that conversation with the person, in the 80-20 rule that I told you, was genuine, it was with the intention of really getting to know that person, you will remember that person even after 3 months, 6 months, when you see something which you feel, hey, I think this will be of value to the person I met at the CII event. Now, you might have forgotten the name, happens to me also, but you have to find a mechanism to kind of recollect the name. It is your own discipline of that. So there are many, many ways that you could probably do that. For example, on our Shimantra group a couple of days back, somebody said, I would like to connect with someone who works in the space of mental health. There was an opportunity. So I remembered a year ago, I was on a panel with this lady who worked in the space of mental health, couldn't remember her name. But I have a very disciplined way of storing, all the posters and creators that come along with every event. So I went back and I found her and her name. And once you know the name, of course, you will have a way of finding. And I sent out that opportunity to her. I've not spoken to her for 6 or 9 months now, but she was thrilled that I remembered her after that panel discussion. So following up is very, very easy. It's not very difficult. It could be as simple as a happy birthday, because you're connected on LinkedIn or maybe Facebook. It will tell you, reminders of people's birthdays. Jacinta Jayachandran, I work so closely with her now, but the way I started, I met her was on another panel. And a few days later, months later actually, Facebook said it's Jacinta's birthday. And what I did was I just WhatsApped her happy birthday. And she was so thrilled, she called me. Because it was a personal message. I didn't go to Facebook wall and said happy birthday like all of us do. Right? So that person, Subha, called me the other day to congratulate me on the TEDx talk. And she said, I had to speak to you on the phone and congratulate and personalize it. It goes a long way. Last thing that I would say is, you cannot dig a well when you're thirsty. So you cannot start networking when you are in need of something. But then you're going to say, you said definition is give. Where is the get part in that? Right? The get will happen. For sure it will happen. So Saraswati Ramamurthy, I told you the story, we fondly call her Saras. We remained connected after that event where she asked me to speak. I kind of introduced her to a few opportunities because she runs a lot of programs in schools in tier 2, tier 3 towns. She must have referred a few things to me. This was 2018 when we met. 2022, sometime in August, she called me and she said, Nirja, Jain Public School Rani Bennur is hosting a TEDx event, and they are inviting me as a speaker. And they said, can I refer other women speakers because the theme is women empowerment. And I could think of no one other than you. Would you come along with me to speak on the TEDx stage? Now, who says no to it? And that's how I networked my way onto the TEDx stage. So things will come your way, definitely. But even if it doesn't, after you have nurtured that relationship, you can ask. It can't be that today I met and say, hey, you're working here. You know what? There was an opportunity. Can you please refer me? It doesn't start like that. The conversation shouldn't start like that. But over a period of time, once you've nurtured the connection, when you have given something, you can definitely ask. So before I let Kavita come back on the stage, I want to do something here. I was planning to do it before the networking break, but doesn't matter. We have another opportunity, iske baad, at dinner time. I'm going to call out some categories, and people who associate with that, I would like them to stand up. Thoda to, after that nice sandwiches that you all ate, which I didn't because, after food I can't really speak. So I thought, let me have a good dinner later. Those of you who are freelancers, gig workers, consultants, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, can you all please stand up? Now the others, don't get a FOMO, please, because I'm going to call out other categories also, so don't worry. freelancers, gig workers, consultants. This table is that, yeah. Solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. Can we all please come to this side? Thank you. Thank you for obliging. Huh? I'll break that table. Thank you. Now, those of you who are not self-employed, because all self-employed people are here, and you know kya masti kar rahe hain ye log. Those of you are employed with another organization and are in individual contributor roles. You know what you mean? Like you're given something to do, you go home. You don't have to bother about other people around or manage others' deliveries, etc. Any individual contributors in this room? Thank you for being so brave. Can you all please come this side? Great. Thank you. Now, those of you are employed with another organization and are a leader. Now, I don't want to go over that philosophy of all of us are leaders. Yes, we are. But for the sake of this exercise, if you are in a leadership position in your organization, you lead teams, you manage people, etc., can you please stand up? Yay, the big crowd. That corner where all the water bottles are there, I think you need all the water to get. Can you please walk towards that corner? Thank you. For the first time in my life, people are actually obliging. Dandy. Vandana, no. And none of the above, right? But no, I will call them out. So if you're a student, and I know for sure there's one in the room, if you are a homemaker, you've never worked till now, or you are on a career break, looking to restart your careers, please stand up. I said homemakers, those who don't work. Okay, I'm looking like some category that I'm missing out. You may want to join them. I will definitely want to understand which category I missed out. Is there a category that I missed out in all of this? Oh, kaun hai? Community makers, please. Yeah. Those who run communities. Training and development, I mean, that you must be a freelancer or something, but I think that group needs more people. Please go there. Okay, and if now you need to identify. See, this Chitra, no, like that Sneha also thinks. I'm a student. No. So someone is saying, I'm a student, and I'm a gig worker, and I'm an individual contributor, and I manage. Like Sneha, find the space for yourselves. Chitra, find the space for yourselves. So do we know, yahan pe this group is seeming to be continuous. I thought we had 4 groups. Yeah. So now, if we had done this before the networking break, I would have said, maybe this has eased you a little into networking, right? Because now you say, oh, wow. Somebody from that individual contributor group has been thinking, how do I get into the gig world? Let me now, I know some people who are into the gig world, right? But you will do this at dinner time. But for now, for the rest of the sessions, I would like you to go and sit next to someone who's not from your fraternity. So you know that's the leaders, the managers. And here we have the individual contributors, and somewhere there is the rest of the community and the people on a break and a student, etc. Please try to find who would you like to converse with, not during the sessions for sure, but during the break. You could kind of get closer to them by sitting next to them and then further your conversations during the break. And with that, I already have Kavita here, and I only want to say that I networked my way onto this stage also, but how I met Kavita and Jab we met is a story for another day. Thank you.
So now you guys have to change places quickly before our next speaker. That's the main thing. Take your bags, move around, get comfortable. Yeah, because with women we have the luggage that goes, so.